Ichigo awakens, Bite to Latch, Chapter 33, Union of Kuchi and Shiba, Union of Kuchi and Shiba, Shiba House. Reactions among the Kuchi family, the Kurosaki family were varied, to say the least. Kukaku just announced that whatever she was talking to Byakuya about involved Ichigo betrothal. The three siblings were shocked to hear the news. Masaki was furious, and Ishin, you were supposed to raise him as a man amongst men, was currently being choked to death by his loving wife. Now you're marrying him off like a priced stud. He already has two girlfriends, Ishin. Now he's getting married. What did you do to my baby boy, you? Ichigo turned away from his mom's unusual aggression to focus on the Shiba clan head, while his sisters clung to him possessively. Okay, so I'm being married off to the Kushiki clan? Ichigo asked. Why wasn't I informed? I told you to talk to Kuchiki for the details, Ichigo, she said in her usual nonchalance. If it was my idea, I would have told you and gotten your input. She suddenly turned serious as he lit up her pipe. But it wasn't my idea, it was Byakuya's. This surprised Ichigo, considering the last time he saw the man in question, he was being glared at. In short, Kushiki feels a debt for you for saving Rukia, so he wanted to unite the two clans as a way of establishing a permanent alliance between the Kushiki and the Shiba, namely, your marriage to Rukia Kuchiki. The background quieted down as the others in the room reflected on the weight of this action. The Shiba family is on the rise as the main economic powerhouse in the West Rukon, and we've already begun to expand our reach in the other districts. Sure, this marriage might damage those relations somewhat with the distance between the nobles and the Rukon citizens, but that will face as life continuing to improve in the Rukon. But why me and Rukia? Ichigo asked, only to be answered with a loud snort from Kukaku. You think I'm going to leave something like this to Ganju? She asked through chuckles. Ichigo, you're the one that has bested some of the Soul Reaper's strongest. You are the first student that Yamato personally took on in the last 1,000 years, and the only reason you're not a captain yet is that you are literally a child at 15, and you have nowhere near the experience people like your father have. When Byakuya proposed the union of the clans, the elders practically begged that you were the one to wed. She leaned back in relaxation. Now we're thinking of a month or two to plan the wedding, so don't go getting your little snow bunny pregnant, you horn dog, she said, taking a long puff of her pipe. Ichigo felt a cold chill as he could swear his mother was glaring at him. We only just kissed at the fireworks festival, Kukaku, he said, shocking that they were spied on. Kukaku seemed genuinely surprised. Really, considering what Yurichi told me, I thought you already planted some seeds in that petite girl, she said, adding fuel to the rage fire of Misaki. After all, you made me see stars. Ichigo started sweating bullets as he felt a cold hand wrapped around his shoulders. Ichigo, he heard his mother sing in the most blood-chilling tone. What is she talking about? Ichigo used all the speed skills he had at his disposal, creating speed clones and cratering every place he landed at as he ran for his life. Flashback, Rukon District, and damn it! Ginjo cursed as he dodged another Shinigami patrol. How did he have so much power? It's been 3 days since Ichigo killed them, and true to his word, this was the hard way. They managed to escape notice into the Rukon district, which was soon swarming with Shinigami and a couple of captains. With Ginjo and Tsukishima both in no condition to fight, whatever was in that attack Ichigo used, it left them nearly crippled when they entered the Rukon districts. Tsukishima could barely walk, and since they had a lot of Reiatsu, they had to keep a constant focus on keeping the Reishi unnoticed. He was coming back from a risky grab of some food when the Soul Reaper's patrol got thicker. Maybe I should have taken his offer, he contemplated as he slowly made his way back to his lone alley. For the first time in a long while, his thoughts drifted back to the one captain that made him figure out the truth of his badge. Ginjo, Tsukishima said as his mentor and friend came into their ramshack hut on the edge of the 5th district of West Rukon. Is everything alright? He groaned as pain coursed through him. They still felt the burns of Ichigo's attack, consuming their bodies as they turned to ash. His shaking hand took some bread from Gugo's hand as the two ate. The patrols are getting thicker, he said in between bites. If we want to avoid capture, we should head deeper into the lower districts. A trip you might not make, he thought as he reevaluated his options. If Ichigo was telling the truth, and from the whispers he's heard among the patrolling Soul Reapers, he was, the Soul Society was not looking to imprison him, just keep him on a short leash, which In retrospect, he did kind of deserve. There were three. There were three. There were three traitor. There were three traitors captains that left Ichigo. That left. Ichigo said that there was a war coming, and so society was changing. When he was still a substitute Shinigami, he saw Soul Reapers bully the people of the Rukon, extort protection money, and treat people like dirt. Now he saw Shinigami give kids pointers on harnessing the Reitsu, actually help people, an almost complete change from what he used to know. So they could either keep running and stay in danger, or they could turn themselves in and hope for a favorable sentence. I never should have listened to that damned Aizen. Ginjo growled, remembering when the former captain of the 5th Division told him about the Soul Reaper badge. Yeah, he's ruined everyone's lives. They heard a gruff tone from their doorway. They turned to see a thuggish man with a bandana, a short cleaver on his back, and armbands with rough stripes like those like those two light fuses. My cousin swore to crush him personally. You might know him. He sent you both here after all. Ginjo and Tsukishima immediately summoned their blades and prepared to fight. Whoa, I'm not here to fight, the Shinigami said as he brought his arms up to placate the two. I'm here to distract you, he said before they both felt a strong blow to their necks. He dropped it like they dropped like rag dogs, with Ginjo barely holding on to consciousness. Nice job, Lieutenant Amaki. Well, I was a member of the Army Kyoto before transferring in Ganju. Ginjo heard as he finally blacked out. Present day, Maggot's Nest. Time had passed for the Fullbringers from when they were finally captured. They were sent to the 4th Division to recover from their injuries, and then directly to the Maggot's Nest after their Fullbringer objects were taken from them. They only had their bringer light ability left to them in order to fight off the other inmates. Tsushima was waiting for Ginjo to come up with their next plan of action, while Ginjo was waiting for a visit from the only captain he was expecting to see. He waited for 3 more days before he finally saw the man that first gave him the substitute badge, Gushiro Ukitaka, who was with Urahara carrying a display stand, and Ruruka, who was carrying a dollhouse and wearing sunglasses. For some reason, the white-haired captain quickly found Kuko and made his way over while Urahara made an announcement. All right, people, he loudly announced. Some of you were imprisoned wrongly because you were perceived as a threat before actually doing anything. This was the failed system, as a few people that were threats managed to evade capture and eventually escaped before they could be stopped. So we now offer a chance, he said, gesturing to Ruruka, who set up her dollhouse. You will be put into this little house and evaluated. Depending on what is found, you will be released back into Soul Society to either rejoin the Gotai or be citizens of the Rukonjai. The only rules when you go inside are as follows: no fighting, no lying, and you have only 5 minutes to answer all the questions. Ginjo's eyes widened as he figured out what was going to happen. You should follow them, he warned. If you don't, well, you won't like the results. He then turned his attention to Utakata as a hesitant line of inmates was formed in the front of Ruruka. Now, what do you want, Utakata? It's been a while, Ginjo, the sickly man said. I wish it was under better circumstances, but that was just wishful thinking, wasn't it? He sat down, gesturing the two Fullbringers to join him. Tsukishima was reluctant, but Ginjo knew there was little left to lose. As you both heard, there's a war coming for us. We were looking to recruit you, but we couldn't overlook your crimes or the hostility you would meet us with. You wouldn't have trusted us if we extended an open hand, so we went with the fist instead. Utikata explained as the first inmate went into Ruruka's dollhouse. He was ejected seconds later, coated in green flames. His screams of agony and terror filled the underground prison. I warned you, Ginjo yelled out before refocusing on the man he once trusted. So you sent that kid to draw me out and arrested me? How did you know he was strong enough to overcome anyone? How was he made a lieutenant anyway? We figured he was the best chance to get you to listen. We didn't expect you to try and turn on him, Utikata explained as the next inmate hesitantly entered the dollhouse. As for his power, well, he fought Kenpachi Saraki to a standstill for an entire day and was trained by some of the strongest and most skilled masters in our arts of combat. He's merely powerful, but but greatly inexperienced. Killing you and your friends almost broke him. That was still 60% of his power, he said, shocking both Fullbringers. We have great concerns about him, but he is our best chance to stop both Aizen and Yuhaba. Ginjo asked, never having heard of the Quincy King. Okay, what don't I know? Ichigo is a hybrid of Hollow, Quincy, and Shinigami. Aizen revealed himself as a power-hungry man bent on becoming a god, and the ancient enemy of all Soul Reapers is returning and could very likely destroy everything as we know it. He summarized for to the two Fullbringers. Aizen isn't too much of a threat as he failed to get the object he wanted to further his goals, but he is putting us all on edge while Yuba is a genuine threat that prompted Yamamoto to take command of the law and change it. Ginjo let everything sink in. The thought of the stubborn captain, often referred to as old man genocide, was willing to change things. Then the situation was more serious than he thought. What if we decide to join you? Tsukishima asked. He saw the experience on Ginjo's face and knew he was considering the option of joining them. You'll be released from the maggot's nest and put under strict observation and probation while carrying out your duties as Soul Reapers and finding more Fullbringers. Ukitake told him. The usual Shinigami badge and another seal that will activate when you try to attack another Shinigami without permission. That last part surprised the duo. We aren't naive enough to believe that there won't be any more rebellious soldiers. This recruitment here in the Magus Nest is to weed out those that would cause problems later, while the others join us to bolster our forces. He finished as another guy burst into flames. So Kiriko's in that dollhouse. Sugishima guessed if recognizing the flames of time. He asked the question to see if they can be trusted. Yes, a remarkable ability for interrogation, Ukitake said, looking back at the dollhouse and his fellow captain. If this Yuobach is as dangerous as you said, then the best bet is for us to swallow our pride and rejoin the squads, Ginjo admitted. But I want a piece of the bastard Aizen. He told me about the substitute badge in the first place. Did he also tell you that we were ready to pull the trigger on you at any moment? Ukitake asked, prompting the former substitute to nod. He was admittedly right, but we were hoping enough time would pass that we would hold you on trial instead of execution. Ukitake stood up as he finished talking. I don't expect you to make a decision so soon, so we'll leave you to your thoughts for now, he said as Urakara finished up his task. Only 5 out of the 200 people in line were permitted to join, and 100 people were consumed by the fires of time. By the way, why is Suzuka wearing sunglasses? Tsukishima asked. Utikate let out a tired sigh. She made the mistake of challenging our smartest minds, he said sadly. She's still wearing bandages from the surgery. Ginjo, Tsukishima, is that you guys? Yuruka asked as she looked around. I can't see too well right now. The two that knew Mayuri and Urahara let out a symptomatic sigh for the poor girl. Kuchiki's compound. I'm glad you've come to talk, Ichigo Kurosaki, Byakuya said in his usual formal tone. This is not a matter to be taken lightly, and Kushiba had made it clear that I should explain matters to you, but I hope you forgive my lack of tact when I say this. He looked up into the tree the hybrid in question was currently hiding in. What the hell are you doing? Hiding from my mom, Ichigo said, still clinging to the trunk of the tree as if his life depended on it. Is this about the political marriage of the clans or the promiscuity? He asked, already knowing about those details of his love life. Both, Ichigo replied. She's been in a coma for 6 years and found out that her baby boy isn't that anymore. Byakuya only nodded. Believe it or not, I can sympathize with you on that, he said, crossing his arms. But I refuse to talk to you like this, so get down from there. Ichigo didn't move. I promise you will not have to deal with her until you have to go home. Ichigo still stayed up there. Do it, or I'll tell her where you are, he said, finally prompting the boy to come down. Fine, Ichigo grumbled as he and Byakuya headed back for the manor. What's up with this marriage anyway, Byakuya? I thought you wanted me as far away from Yuki as possible. The noble head sent a sideways glare at the young lieutenant. Make no mistake, I'm not happy about you marrying Rukia, he said as they entered the manor with a maid setting out tea for the two. But I do accept this union. You saved Rukia's life, served as the catalyst for Soul Society to change for the better, and act as the shining light for the future of Soul Society. You helped me keep my promise to my late wife and made me rethink my vow to my parents. I owe you a debt that I can never repay, so I will always do what I can to aid you. As such, establishing a permanent alliance to your Shiba family with this marriage. He took his tea and drank from it gingerly. Though I do have some concerns about the other women in your life, so I want you to do this. He put down his tea and looked at Ichigo with grievous seriousness. Rukia is your first and official wife. The comment hung in the air as Ichigo blinked in confusion. First official? Ichigo slowly asked. Yes, your first and official wife, Byakuya said, slowly elaborating his point. Nobles are subject to different expectations than with commoners, among which is ensuring the continuing bloodline of the clan. As much as I am loath to do so and betray Hisana, I am expected to sire a child to continue the Kuchiki bloodline. The same goes for you as well, Ichigo Shiba. He said, using Ichigo's paternal family name to remind him of his noble status. Because my family is well off, I'm expected to have a single heir to the clan at least, while the Shiba family has been rather unlucky, as you've seen for yourself. As a shining star of the family, the responsibility falls on you and your family to restore your clan. Nobles have been noted to have multiple wives and concubines, so I can honestly accept you having more lovers than my sister, but I don't have to be happy about it. Huh? Was all Ichigo could say as he absorbed the information. Certainly better than what Yudorichi explained to him before at the hot springs. I'm not interested in creating a harem Byakuya, but the way you put it makes me feel like I don't have a choice. Didn't Yudorichi say you had the instinct to breed? Byakuya asked, suddenly jabbing at Ichigo's love life. I have faith in you, but treat Rukia right. My brother, he said before grabbing his sword. But if you hurt Rukia in any way, I will see you punished. Duly noted, Ichigo said as he sweat dropped. Tea shop in the middle of the Serte. Rukia let out a sigh of exhaustion, doing what she could to enjoy her time away from her squad. Ever since the truth came out and she began to recover her powers, Ukitake immediately began training her to fill up the long-standing vacancy of Lieutenant of Squad 13. He explained that it was Byakuya's wish that she not get put into any unnecessary danger, but the coming war changed a lot of minds as they focused on preparations. She thought she was ready, but the sickly minds are but the sickly gentleman that she called her captain made no secret on what she should expect. Mostly paperwork, occasionally higher tier missions, but the worst was dealing with the dual third seats and the stupid rivalry. To make matters worse, she recently learned that she was to wed Ichigo as a way of creating a permanent alliance between her family and his. They barely started dating, and she had to spend most of the week convincing her brother to not castrate Ichigo because she wasn't pregnant. In short, the snow maiden Soul Reaper needed a break. Rukia! She heard a familiar cry as Orihime and Tatsuki were coming to join her, just the relaxation she needed as she waved back gratefully. Then Orihime's tone went colder than her Sanpakuto. What's this we hear about you marrying Ichigo? Rika started shaking as the two girls let out burning and cold anger towards the petite girl. Yes, we'd like to know, Tatsuki semi-growled as she glared at the object of their anger. Rukia felt herself shrink as the image of two hungry predators stared down a defenseless rabbit entered her mind. Well, the thing is, Rukia started as fear and nervousness gripped her heart. Thankfully for her, someone came in to alleviate the tension. Now, you two, Rangiku sang as she came up behind the empowered humans, putting a calming hand on their shoulders. She can't talk if you keep scaring her like that. Orihime and Tatsuki looked at each other before calming down. There we go. Name's Rangiku Matsumoto, Lieutenant of Squad 10. Now, how about we talk about dumplings? She suggested with a cheery smile. The next thing they knew, they were all drinking tea and eating dumplings in a completely calm and relaxed atmosphere. Ah, much better, Rangiku said, who successfully diffused the situation. Now then, Rukia, can you explain? She said, not in a teasing tone, but one of seriousness that was rare for the lieutenant. Right, Rukia said as she filled in the others on the political side of the situation they found themselves in. I'm not entirely against marrying him, but this earlier just feels off. It's just establishing a union between the two, right? Tatsuki asked. You can hold it off for a while as you get to know each other better. That should also give us a chance to bond as well, Orihime said, relieved that she and Tatsuki might still get married to their favorite strawberry. Sister wives, she cheered, throwing a hand up and prompting the others to join. Sister wives, Rangiko cheered, waiting a few seconds for that to sink in for the others. Once it had, she pulled out the letter Jin left for Ichigo. He's keeping a promise to him, and he seems like a nice guy, he said with a smile. Remembering the night they spent together, the three girls took a small recess to talk amongst themselves. All right, Rangiku, Tatsuki said, being the spokesperson for the group. You may pursue Ichigo, but nothing perverted, she said, laying down the law. If you really want to try this, you have to be willing to give him your heart. Only then will we permit you to make love with him. I'll know if you break this rule, Orihime sternly said. She's not joking. One time she sniffed out Ichigo before anyone saw him, Tatsuki said as Orihime barked like a dog. Aw, Rangiku pouted, and he's got such a nice body too. But fine, you were first, and I'm only now joining, she said before sticking her hands in. Sisters? The other three looked at each other before nodding. Sisters, they said, joining their hands. Then Orihime and Tatsuki joined some mischievous remarks. Now for that, Tatsuki said with a creepy chuckle. Yes, time for them to meet Masaki Oka-chan, Orihime said with a similar giggle, putting the two Soul Reapers on edge. Squall 12 R&D department. Jackie ran as hard as she could through the obstacle course in the labs of the 12th division. The scanners and measuring devices on her body as she powered through with her Fullbringer. She hasn't picked a squad to join as of yet, electing to be a prime research specimen for their work into the powers of Fullbringers. She wanted to get stronger. She hated her own powers. She was torn. The other Fullbringers wanted to enhance their abilities, but she wanted to get rid of them. It didn't matter if it let her get her revenge for her family when they were murdered. They were a constant reminder of finding her family dead, their blood dirtying her boots, and awakening her Fullbring. That's good for now, Tristan-san. Take the rest of the day off. A voice from the intercom letting Jackie relax. They said that they could possibly change her abilities, or at the very least remove them. She simply had to help with the research, which she didn't unhesitantly. The idea of reading herself up her bleak reminders, overriding every other thoughts. It was these few breaks that made her think. You have no technique, just speed and power. His voice echoed in her head. I'm not the cocky one here. You are. He played her with ease when they first started. Then Yuriko's timer kicked in and gave her an advantage. She immediately capitalized on her increased time to push him, to prove him wrong. But his words did their damage. She never had the kind of fight he must have had to let him make it that boost. He soon adapted to the situation and returned the favor. I love my power, he said, explaining why she lost to him so easily. It lets me protect my friends, the people I care about. I've never seen it as a curse. I give myself to my powers, and I learn from them. This was like training with my Quincy abilities, but using the focus of my hollow. They speak to me, guide me, and I trust them with my life. He mastered brighter light in the middle of the fight, allowing him to keep up with and surpass her as he pushed his senses to their limits, to trace and follow her. Someone that hates their own abilities could never match me, he growled as his Fullbringing evolved before her eyes, leading to the explosion that preceded a completed Fullbring. Damn kid, she cursed as his words echoed her own greatest weakness. She hated her Fullbring for that constant reminder of what she'd lost. It wasn't fair. Why did she have to be the one to hate her powers? Everyone else lived with or relished her abilities, but she had the constant reminder of loss on her feet. Even if she did lose them, what then? Where would she go? She was brought out of her musings when a flash of light caught her eye. El Directo! Chad roared as he fired another blast. Another lucky bastard with a full brain born from his desire to help his friends. His session ended, and he made his way out to find Uryu, not exactly trusting the daughter of Mayuri. He passed Jackie as she made her opinion heard. You lucky bastard, she said, getting Chad's attention. Why do you get the full brain that came from something positive? You and that brat Ichigo. Chad was about to say something, but she was ranting. You're lucky you have good memories with your full brain. What made it so easy to use? Chad just bopped her on the head to shut her up. How did you awaken your full brain, Jackie? He asked, making the older woman look at him in surprise. My powers came to me after I refused to abandon Ichigo when the Hollow showed up during Mars Bar. I pulled on the promise we made to each other. He explained before holding up his grandfather's coin. I'm pulling on my gratefulness to my abuelo, to see if this will be a full bring. What do you pull on to harness your full bring? He asked again. The anger and sorrow I felt when I found my family dead, she said finally, slowly, grimacing at the dark memories. We were really poor, and these boots were their present to me, mostly likely stolen, but I didn't care. I did my best to take care of them every day. The first thing that really made them dirty and activated my full brain was my brother's blood when I found everyone murdered. She held herself as she felt like the little girl walking in on the bloodied scene all over again. She stopped shaking when she felt Chad's arm wrapped around her. So you have one bad memory, and you use that to power your full brain? Chad said, analyzing what he heard. But didn't you just say you also have good memories with these boots? Why don't you use that? He offered before letting her go and walking away. I have something I need to do, so try what I said. She pondered on his words before her mind went back to the joy she felt when she first got her boots. She never noticed them beginning to shine a little brighter. Shiba household. Ichigo made his way back into the Shiba house after a long day, which became eerily quiet. The first time that the house had not felt inviting, he made his way around slowly before being grabbed from behind. A rough hand sealed his mouth as Ishin held his son tight. Ichigo, his father whispered into his ear, don't make a sound, just run. Head for any of the other bases. Head out at Division 12 even. It's safer than here. He looked around for a second. On my mark. Just bolt. She's still. Where do you two think you're going? A melodic tone of pain sang to the two Kurosaki men. They slowly turned around to see Masaki's smiling face, surrounded by a black aura that made her hair seem like it was on fire. In her hand was a wooden spoon she held like a blade. Come on, Ichigo. Why don't you tell me about what you've been doing over dinner? And Ishin, what's this about 5 daughters? Ichigo and Ishin broke out into a cold sweat. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers. Why Nemo took Uryu on a date? This is very impressive, Mayuri, Urahara said in surprise, looking over Nemu's data. Mayuri was currently being held down by a high-level Bakudo spell as Uryu familiarized himself with all the data. If she actually achieves evolution, I'd actually beat out the Hokyokyo by actually being useful. He turned to his lieutenant. If I may offer some advice, why not let her try to fall in love? Love? Why, Mayuri stopped struggling. Why would I care about such an unreasonable variable? Love tends to push people beyond what anyone thinks possible, Urahara stated with a shrug as he dispelled his restraint spell. Just food for thought. I think she might respond well to Uryu. He left, leaving Mayuri to ponder his words. An hour later, all right, you have the dress that the Quincy made, Mayuri said while his daughter stood by his side, awaiting further orders. There's a picnic set up on a hillside that Koryaku recommended. Here's your chloroform. Here's your chloroform if the tranquilizers in the food don't work. He handed her a bottle and a rag, and be sure to bring him back here. Yes, Master Mayuri, she said with a nod. Kenpachi's bachelor's party. The scarred captain of the 11th Division picked his companions carefully. He had Ikikaku and Yumichika, Tetsu-sanmen, Renji, and Hisaki, who were literally dragged along. Kiryokaku brought the liquor, and plenty of it, and most importantly, Ichigo and Uryu. They made their way to the most desolate reaches of the living world with special permission to have their limits released. Booze, Kenpachi called out. Kyoraku gestured to the pyramid of sake jugs behind him. Scoreboard. Hisaki pulled out a blackboard with most of their names on it. Entertainment. Uryu pulled out some hollow bait and broke it, summoning swarms of hollows, with several Menos Kanades coming along. Music, Kenpachi snarled with a bloodthirsty smile. Kiraku pulled out the stereo and started playing the song of choice. Wait for it. he said, letting the music play while unleashing no Sarashi. His fellows following suit, aside from Uryu and Kuraku, who chose to keep score. Go! He yelled as Get Ready to Die started playing. I'm not sure what I was expecting when he invited me to come along, Uryu said as he started chalking up points. Masaki's lessons, Orihime and Tatsuki. Now remember what I taught you. The Kurosaki matriarch said as her son's girlfriend stood in front of her. They turned input at the lesson to test. Welcome home, honey. Orihime sang out, wearing nothing but panties and an apron. Would you like dinner, a bath, or me? Tatsuki stuttered, wearing a similar outfit. They both paused as Ichigo watched them in shock. Not what he was expecting when he came home. I said be seductive, not cute or nervous, Masaki scolded her prospective daughters as they blushed in front of their boyfriend. You have to take the reins sometimes for your man. Now do it again. Ichigo, come back in, she ordered before Ichigo got out of the house. That was odd, Uryu said, accompanying his cousin to his home. Yeah, mind if I crash at your place for now? End of chapter 33.